In 2021, we embarked on a significant data transformation journey. It aims to make GSWA's data more fair, so findable, accessible, interoperable and reusable. Tony Perry is here to tell us a little bit more about how we're going to do that.
Thank you, Michelle. Okay, so what I wanted to do today actually is just tie in some of the conversations and some of the presentations that have been had today around the fantastic work the survey's been doing. But all that is associated, obviously, with having data and useful and good data available to do these studies. So really, the Geoscience Data Transformation Program, as Michelle's mentioned, in our third year now, and we are starting to really sort of get to the point where we're actually starting to see some fruition of what we're doing and better start to demonstrate some of the work we are now sort of doing as well. So very quickly, I do want to just touch a bit on knowledge graphs again. You've heard it twice today. You've heard it from Nicole's conversation or talk this morning, and you've heard it from Erin's reference as well. So what I wanted to do is just very quickly sort of slide to the shows here around some of the challenges we have right now when we talk about the data within the geological survey and the fact we have all these multiple databases, applications where we hold data. At the moment, you have to go into those individual applications and databases to get access to that information and pull it together almost sort of on your own in sort of not a very automated process. So the challenge we're trying to solve by using knowledge graphs is to bring all that data together, to actually have associations with these different data sets and the different databases, so we do a search, we actually bring back the entities that are stored in different databases. Now there's sort of three applications I do want to actually touch on to do with what we're going to talk about in a minute is an example from Knowledge Graph, and that's our sort of three applications here with Worix, WAChem, and WAGMS. So Worix is holding our site information. You may not know of these particular products, some of you might do, but so Worix holds our site information. We've got WAGMS that's holding our results information, and we've got WAChem that's holding our geochemical, if I can say, information as well. So I'll show you very briefly in terms of how we're bringing that data together through using a knowledge graph. But before we do that, I want to quickly just explain a bit about what a knowledge graph is. Now, hopefully, during the course of today, you may have learned a bit more about what they are. But just to put it into concept to what we do on a day-to-day basis, we actually use knowledge graphs every day. We may not know about it. So I'll give you an example. So if you think about your streaming service, your Netflix, your social medias, quite often you'll go and do a search for your favorite film. Let's use earthquakes or disaster films, because we can talk about earthquakes today. That particular disaster film you might have an interest is associated with Los Angeles, because Los Angeles seems to have all the disasters. We have disaster films. And we want to sort of do a search for that sort of genre of film. But it'll often come back with that film, but also a series of other options for you. That's basically a knowledge graph in the background going off and saying, okay, you're interested in earthquakes, you're interested in disaster films. It also may pick up the actors and actresses within those films as well. So the results you get back is basically that knowledge graph, bringing that information together and giving you a much richer search in terms of other alternatives that you may want to watch at some point in time to do with earthquakes in Los Angeles, and then you can sort of pick those other ones later on. So that's in essence what a knowledge graph is. The other thing to sort of pinpoint as well, if you're particularly interested, there was a Gartner review that was done in 2021, and it basically ascertained that 80% of all data innovations by 2025, so we're very close to 2025, would be basically determined through the use of knowledge graphs in the background, bringing all this information together to allow that data innovation to work. So again, from our perspective, knowledge graphs is kind of state of the art in terms of technology, but also is helping us to do the same with our geoscience data and trying to bring that data together. All right, so let me quickly give you an example of what we've been talking about around how we're using knowledge graphs. We've got our three applications there. We've got our sites, our Worix informational database, which is for sites. We've got our WAGMS for results information and WAChem for our geochemistry information. So if we look at the very center of the slide there on the blue bit, there is a sort of crushed sample imagery there. So that information may well be held in WAChem. But that crushed sample it's come from somewhere. So it's a derivative, it's come from a larger rock sample, which has come from a location somewhere. So that information is held in Worix. And then we've got the analysis work that's been done, and again, that analysis, results from that analysis will be held in our WAGMS database. So at the moment, they're very separate entities, they're very separate databases. So what the knowledge graph is doing is going to bring those entities together. So when you search for that data or search for something associated with that particular crush sample, it'll bring you back other searches to go, well, actually, I can tell you it's from this location, it's had this analysis done, and it'll give you further, richer information associated with that particular sample. Basically, the other thing just to acknowledge as well, we talked about the accessibility of information and how you'll get a richer search back with using knowledge graphs in the background. What the program is doing is also developing a brand new discovery portal. So at the moment, those of you that use WAPMs and WOMEX, you'll be used to going into those systems individually if you want your minerals data and you want your petroleum data. What we're building is a discovery portal that will actually bring those searches together in one place, using knowledge graph in the background to enrich that search. So in essence, you'll get a discovery portal, you can put in a search in the search line there, and it will bring you back what you've searched for, but it'll also start to bring you back all the other options and alternatives that are associated with that particular search you've done. As I mentioned with the example with streaming services and films, etc. So that's pretty much what we're working on at the moment. The knowledge graph, we're almost in the verge of stage of actually being able to fully deploy that system, hopefully or that solution into the new year. But it's one of those things that will continue to mature and morph as it grows in the amount of data we're putting in there. So again, the more and more we put in, the richer the search will be with regards to what you get back. The image on the right there really showing at a very high level. It was on the poster or the banner that you may have seen at our little display in the corner there. It's just really showing at a very simplistic level what we're trying to do on the program. It's about the lodgement of data coming in, it's storing it in a cloud environment, it's allowing searchability through a discovery portal, but again, using that knowledge graph as a way of enriching that search as well. So what we're also doing, whilst we're managing all that, and we're trying to build these new ways of finding data and using data, we're also enhancing the current interfaces. So WOMEX, I think last year or early this year, we'd announced the fact that we've improved the way you can search for data in WOMEX, so the improvement to the WOMEX data, interface. We're doing the same with WAPMs to note that, great, we've got all this data, we're making it available, we're making it online. You need to know what actually is available, what's new within the WAPMs interface. So we've put this new tile in here, which is basically new uploads. So if you go into WAPMs now, if you haven't already, I encourage you to go in there, you'll see the tile, new uploads, you can click on that, and it will take you through to another page, which will allow you to actually search for the new data that's now available through WAPMs. Now, a lot of the new data that's available through WAPMs currently is seismic, but it's seismic that you may not have had access to before. So the other thing is trying to allow access to more data sets that previously have been very difficult for you to get access to. So again, I do encourage that. You can certainly find more information as you search through the WAPMs interface. And if you're particularly interested as well, so far we're continuing to push data into the cloud environment. We have about 8 terabytes of data, new data, or previously inaccessible data, which is now sitting in our cloud environment and accessible through the WAPMs interface. That's it in a very quick show and tell, but also just to acknowledge, if you want to find information about the program, please obviously check the banner. There's a QR code on the banner you can scan, and it will give you access to our website. But we also do encourage you to drop us questions through our email address on the screen there, and we always want to have that feedback from yourselves in terms of asking questions about what we're doing, and we'll start to showcase more of the actual deliverables as we go through this next year. Thank you.